I've got all my sister's earrings as usual. She's got an Etsy shop that I always leave down in the description box, and she hand makes her earrings, and she's got several new styles out right now. She's done a little bit of a shop update. Hey everyone, welcome to today's weekly reading. I'm excited to get into this with you. This video topic is actually from one of our subscribers. Their name is Kennedy Kid, so thank you Kennedy Kid for the wonderful topic. It actually ties in with last week's topic. So last week we touched upon why you chose this incarnation, and this week we're going to talk about what your next incarnation is meant to be. What kind of life will it be? Who will you be? What will you be doing? So very fun and interesting. So a couple of things I want to touch on before we get into the piles. My shop is back open. Most of you I think know because I've had a lot of purchases the past couple of weeks. They've been very enjoyable. I've also connected personally with a fellow YouTube tarot reader. I'm going to leave her channel down in the description box. I know her as Angelica. She actually provided me with a deceased loved one reading. I didn't give her a particular person. We just wanted to kind of exchange some free tarot readings back and forth with one another to help improve our skills and connect. So she had nothing to go off of, and it was freaking amazing what she did. So definitely check her channel out. She's legit and very, very kind. So hey Angelica, she's usually down in our comments too. Okay, so for the pile selections today, we're going to use an idea given to me by Anish. I'm always shouting him out in videos. He's usually giving me lots of great topic ideas. Now, you can select your pile based on just which one you're pulled to if you would like, but I'd really like it if you guys could follow the choices. So what this is going to be is you're going to tap into your vision of, like, in an ideal world, what your ideal perfect day would look like. And I'm going to list out the 7 choices, because there's going to be 7 piles, and let you know which choice correlates to which pile, and therefore is the pile for you. Okay, I love you all, and I will see each of you at your piles. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and I want you to imagine what your ideal perfect day would encompass. In a perfect world, take away all the stress and worry and attachments that come with it. We're going to an ideal world, and I'm going to give you some options for what your perfect day would look like. And if you feel like 2 to 3 options maybe fit you perfectly, then you're welcome to watch all 3 piles. Or here in a second, when we get to the pile images, you can discern, like narrow it down from there. Okay, so just settle in and relax. So if your perfect day would be filled with all forms of entertainment, self-expression, attention, maybe an exciting party, a good movie, a concert, maybe doing some DIY painting or going to a karaoke bar, that sort of thing, then you are pile 1. If your ideal day would include being able to just relax at home alone or just with your immediate family who lives with you, maybe getting some much needed spa time, taking a really relaxing bath, eating some good comfort food, and getting to kind of sleep in and lounge around, then you are going to be pile number 2. If your ideal day be filled with exciting physical sort of activities and exertion, maybe some friendly competition, perhaps some good passionate sex or a really good workout, jogging, biking, boxing, and then maybe ending the evening at some sort of sporting event gathering, like a football party, or getting to go to a UFC party, or watching the Olympics with family and good food, or some races, like whatever sort of competitive sport or event kind of piques your interest. So if this sounds exciting to you, then you would be pile number 3. If your ideal day would be filled with lots of mental stimulation, a short trip somewhere local or not too far, maybe in your local community or an hour or 2 away with a friend or a partner, checking out a cool museum, maybe having a park picnic, hanging out in the library, attending a craft fair or a flea market, and kind of being able to get a good bargain on some fun new purchases, then you would be pile number 4. If your ideal day would be a vacation day, somewhere exotic, far away, getting to see a new culture, hiking up in the mountains, or experiencing something brand new, maybe going on a hot air balloon ride, or whatever piques your interest, and basically just getting a more spiritual connection with the world and getting to detach from the material for a bit, then you would be pile number 5. If your ideal day would be filled with romance, love, and pleasure, perhaps a really romantic date with a rich dessert and some good wine, or getting to go on an enjoyable spending spree, updating your wardrobe, getting new accessories, or just items that would warm your heart to be able to buy for yourself and not having to worry about the money aspect of it, then you would be pile number 6. And if your ideal day would include finally having the time, the energy, the resources to get all those things done in your life that you've been putting off, that have just been haunting you in the back of your mind, maybe finally getting that cleaned out garage that's pristine and organized looking, or finally getting to paint your bedroom that color you've been wanting to for years, whatever it includes, and then being able to end the day in celebration by maybe hosting a dinner or a small gathering with your extended family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, having a barbecue or cookout, or just eating a good meal with them, then you would be pile number 7. All right, so I'm going to leave this up for a couple more seconds so you can go over it and decide which piles apply to you, and then we're going to go to the picture of the piles to help you further confirm or tap into which pile or piles you need to listen to for your future incarnation. Okay, I'll see you guys in a bit. Hey Pile 1, welcome to your reading. I'm glad you're here and can't wait to see what your future incarnation is meant to look like, who you're meant to be. Let's start with rolling the die and then we'll get into some of the deck toppers you all chose. All right, so we have the 5th house in Leo with the moon sitting right there. Beautiful. So 5th house is actually ruled by Leo. It's a very creative, self-expressive energy, kind of being in the spotlight, being the center of attention, having a lot of playtime and creating a lot in your life. And with the moon there, it seems to be pulled or connected with, this will separate into 2 different groups. For some of you, your future incarnation is going to revolve a lot around parenting, mothering, children, and kind of pouring your emotions and your life into that. For others of you, this is going to be about creating from a very emotional place. So perhaps, famous musicians, singers, artists, people that kind of create from their emotions. So we'll see as we get further into the reading how that expands. So let's look at the topper you all chose, this rune here. And the meaning of this rune is adversity, conflicts, and gateway. Because you'll notice it kind of looks like, if you turn it this way, it looks like a bridge, a gateway to another side. So it's interesting. This lifetime for you, your current one, may be one that's filled with a lot of adversity, a lot of conflict, a lifetime where you don't feel like there's a whole lot of time for you to kind of just play and enjoy yourself and be expressive. And that may have something to do with what you chose this current lifetime to be, but definitely all the hard work that you're doing in this lifetime is leading you to a lifetime of potential fame, just a lot of joy, a lot of fun, and a lot of creativity. So, okay, let's start with my Mystic Healing deck. Interesting. Okay, so we have the Transform Anger card. And I think I want to read this to you all. I actually have my window open today. I normally don't do that because I live in an apartment complex, and it is kind of noisy, but it's so nice having the breeze in. So hopefully that doesn't come across too loud on camera. There's a lot of people outside today. It feels great out. Okay, so Transform Anger. Use your anger as a catalyst for change. Let's see. In the past, anger might have given you the right to blame other people for your limitations. It's time for you to face your anger and allow it to energize you instead of draining you. If there are things that are not working in your life, take responsibility and steps to change them. You can no longer use anger to give you a false sense of pride and justify criticizing, putting down, or resenting others. This is your opportunity to redeem yourself, apologize for your behavior, and become kinder toward yourself and others. Interesting. And then it says, transform your anger into passion and create positive change. So that goes beautifully with kind of the creativity I was talking about. So perhaps those emotions that are supposed to be pulled on in your whatever you're doing in your future life comes from this anger and this frustration, like finding a healthy outlet for that, creating something from it, and then earning a lot of warmth, a lot of generosity, a lot of attention for those creations. Okay, before I get into the tarot, I do want to take a look at the Saint card that you all chose. Okay, this is Saint number 32, Saint Dominicus. I love the imagery on this deck. And let's see who Saint Dominicus is. He founded the Order of Preachers, and this card signifies progressive social ideas and justice. So some of you may be kind of seen in your future life as a champion of others in some way, a champion of certain causes. I feel like you're going to use your spotlight, use the leadership position that you're meant to be in this next lifetime. Not only, I feel like it's going to start from a very creative, fun place that's going to get you the recognition or put you up on that pedestal to where you have a voice that people are going to listen to, but then you're going to make sure you give back or use that influence for some important social causes that you believe in. So you'll be known not only for your creations, but also for your leadership in the area of kind of championing for other people and humanitarian sort of work. Okay, now let's get into the tarot, and I'll flip over the other 3 cards as well, and I'll show you as I go. Okay, the first tarot card is the Page of Cups. Then we have the Hanged Man. Ooh, Ace of Pentacles. Wow, and the 10 of Cups. Beautiful. Yeah, so, okay, so Page of Cups, that's that inner child sort of energy. This is a very young energy, but it's connected to the emotions because we're talking about cups. The Page of Cups is very creative, but also a very sensitive, emotional, vulnerable sort of energy. Still very surprised and caught off guard by life, still very curious, definitely very emotionally expressive. And so that's kind of the energy that you're meant to embody in your next life. And it looks like ultimately what you're going to find through this new sense of vulnerability in yourself is something that's going to root you, ground you, be stable, long lasting, potentially a money endeavor, career, but also complete emotional fulfillment in your personal life. So this is about having really close, connected friendships, family members, spouse, children. I definitely feel for all of you who chose this pile, your next life will include a very strong, stable marriage as well as children. I feel more than one child, definitely, because your creative energy is just, it feels so explosive in this next lifetime. And creation and creativity are tied together with kind of creating new life, new children. So I see that kind of being you're just going to be so abundant. Your source of energetic abundance is so strong. You're going to have a very large family. But yeah, it looks like a lot of it seems like you're gonna learn in this next lifetime how to create from a place where you have a lot of emotions that can't really be dealt with. There's really nothing you can do. You feel angry about this, that, or the other, but your little voice or isn't going to change anything, or I don't know, there's nothing you can do about it. Let's say maybe it's the idea of wars really being upsetting to you, okay? So maybe you have all these emotions and this sensitivity related to the idea of why does war have to happen? Wars are so ridiculous. But you can't actually do anything to make a war stop, right? So you're going to take those sort of emotions that can really weigh you down when they don't have an outlet. And it's going to be related to causes or situations or people that anger or upset you, but there's nothing you can do. Those areas of life where you kind of feel like you have your hands tied. I'm feeling all these things, but there's nothing I can do with it. So, okay, I'm just going to create. And maybe it's a painting, or maybe it's heck, you guys could decide to create some sort of nonprofit organization if you wanted, or music, or a channel, or a blog, or a podcast, or whatever. But you're going to be channeling these frustrations into some sort of creative endeavor. Okay, then we have Fogged In. It says, go slow, take some time. We have the Poet. Beautiful. So once again, music, art, perhaps literature, book writers, Wow. And then we have Mars energy, and Mars is all about anger, frustration, aggression, wanting to hash it out, fight it out. So yeah, it's interesting because you're going to find a really positive outlet for any sort of dark, upsetting, temperamental sort of emotion within you. And it's going to be in art or in your own personal creations, in your endeavors. And all that pent up anger is going to be used for healing, fixing, championing, progressing versus fighting, which is pretty magnificent. There's a lot of people here who are meant to be famous in their next lifetime or have quite a large following through what they create and what they do. So I also want to speak on this current lifetime because I'm getting a sense that this current lifetime may be filled with a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. And that's because this current lifetime is a stepping stone to the next and to this kind of big thing you're going to be creating in your next lifetime that all has to do with this sort of angry, frustrated energy. So it's likely that in this lifetime you deal a lot, or it's almost like life may bring situations to you almost just to piss you off, it may feel like, but it's to get tapped in, comfortable, and accustomed to dealing with this sort of more negative sort of energy that we can't help. And then what do I do with that? What am I supposed to do with this? So I feel like as you get older and older in this lifetime, you're going to start really understanding how to navigate through those emotions in a very healthy sort of way. And some of you, maybe at the end or closer to midlife in this lifetime, may start finding this sort of creative outlet that's going to bring you fame in the next life. I don't think it'll bring you fame necessarily in this life, but you're going to start getting comfortable and understanding that. But you've got to have a negative well of emotions to pull from. So that's got to be from past experiences and life experience. And so if you've ever felt so, just like your life is so much more overwhelming or frustrating for you than it is for others, and you just don't understand why, well, this is kind of a partial answer to that question for you. A lot of it ties into the big life purpose in your next life. So the better you get at kind of working through that energy and finding your positive outlets, whether it be figure out what sort of creative thing is really inspiring and relaxing for you, or even just getting out your physical energy through exercise or boxing or something like that, the better prepped you'll be for this next lifetime. You're gonna use that in a really big way. And I do see you being in a very strong leadership position, but a leadership position where you're not going to abuse your power. And that's also key. How could you know how horrible it feels to have power abused if you hadn't experienced that yourself? So I feel like in this current lifetime, you've gotten a lot of glimpses of that, of people who have all this power at their fingertips. They could do so much good with it, but instead they use that power to make people feel little, to crap on people, to push people to the wayside. And then being so frustrated and angry about that. Your soul needed that wisdom, that experience, and that insight, because in your next lifetime, you are going to be put in a big leadership type of position. And because your soul has experienced misuse of power, knows how awful and crappy that feels, you will not do that. You're going to use your power for something good. Okay, so this is from my word deck, and I flipped this one over last, and it's a word to kind of sum up this next incarnation. And look what we have. We have community. Yeah, so you all in your next lifetime will be leaders of a community. It could be leaders of a very large fan base. A lot of you could be involved in grassroots politics, going into local political roles in your next life. So it could be something creative, or it could be something political, or something nonprofit. But you're going to use your power for something really, really good. And people are going to trust you as well. People are going to relate to you. They're going to trust your expertise. So you're going to be dealing with a lot less frustration in your next life than you will in this one. But remember that whatever you're dealing with in this lifetime is going to tie into the strength and the capability and the opportunities you'll have in the next. So don't take it for granted. It's all got a very important purpose for you. So what an exciting lifetime you guys have to look forward to. I want to thank you so much for coming. Don't hesitate to comment below. Let me know what you thought about the reading. Does it relate to your current life in any way? I always like seeing those connections made down below. And I always look forward to seeing you guys for next week's reading. Okay, so I'll see you then. Love you guys. Hi, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. Can't wait to see what your next incarnation is going to be like and how that ties into your current life. Let me start by rolling the die, and then we'll take a look at the rune topper you all chose. All right, so we have Neptune in the 10th house in Libra. Interesting. So typically, Neptune and Libra in the 10th could signify a movie star, some sort of model, someone who maybe, marries some sort of billionaire, or creates a lot of wealth in an area of like beauty. So fashion design, makeup, fitness, anything like that. Because Neptune signifies this sort of like illusion, this sort of fantasy, this sort of escape, which entertainment, or even, cosmetic surgery could be another one. You could be some sort of cosmetic surgeon. But yeah, some area in life where you are publicly known as someone who people can connect with on a fantasy sort of level. You create some sort of illusion on the stage or on TV or otherwise. And with Libra, it's related to beauty and attractiveness and relationships, love, that sort of thing. So let's look at the rune topper. You all chose this one here, a little arrow. And this means bravery, energy, faith, duty, and warrior. So interesting. It seems like in your next life, especially with that 10th house energy, you all are going to be extremely career minded. I feel like at a very young age, you're going to know exactly what you want to do and create, and you're going to go for it. You're going to move far away if you need to do that. You're going to get into the school you want, or you're going to drop out of school to chase after this dream. You're going to be extremely ambitious in this next lifetime. So let's look at my healing deck first. Okay, we have break addiction. Beautiful imagery. Okay, let's read this card meaning real quick. It says, let go of your addictions. All habits are an attempt to suppress uneasy, undesired feelings by using outside means to alter one's mood. On the deepest levels, your negative habits are trying to direct you towards a search for the spirit. A negative habit first occurs in the astral body when your I am, or the part of you that has the strength to guide the body, weakens. The longer you entertain the negative habit, the stronger it becomes. It then enters your etheric body, where it becomes an addiction. Whatever your addiction is, whether it is to gambling, food, alcohol, success, coffee, drugs, worry, drama, criticism, seeing something wrong with your body, spending more money than you have, stressing or focusing on lack, etc., it's time to go within and gain back your autonomy. Recognize that you are stronger than this addiction and have the power to overcome it. You can rebuild your inner strength and self-belief. Beautiful. So you may be dealing with some frustrating addictions in this current life. And I do feel that you are going to overcome those things. And if not in this lifetime fully, then you're definitely going to in your next lifetime. I feel like you do feel like an addictive type of person just because of this very strong ambition that I'm getting off of these cards. Like this very strong sense of determination, this sort of workaholic type energy. And Neptune, actually, which came up in the die, is a planet that's known to, like I said, fantasy, illusion, escapism. Drugs and alcohol are associated with that, or really any form of addiction, because they're so beautiful and lovely. They can be very alluring and very addictive. So I feel like at least in this next incarnation, that is going to be something you deal with. I feel like more on a workaholic type level, because you all are going to be so ambitious. You're going to have this huge goal that you refuse to give up on, that you want to reach, and you are going to be extremely successful. In order to gain that success, though, I see you relying on some addictive tendencies, maybe working too late, having an unhealthy work and home life sort of balance, maybe taking certain supplements to help you get through, the 60, 70 hours you're working a week, whether it be too much coffee, not enough water, not enough sleep, whatever it is. And you're going to reach this huge peak of success business-wise or career-wise, and that's when you're going to realize that okay, it was so great what I accomplished, and this is really amazing, and I'm thankful, but why don't I really feel much different inside than I did before? Like all these years, I kind of thought that finally reaching this pivotal point in my career was going to be that thing that I needed in order to feel happy, feel joyful. to no longer need the extra caffeine or whatever it is that you're grabbing for. And you're going to see it's not a fix-all. Success is not a fix-all. And that's where you're going to kind of work through those addictions and really break free, but still be extremely, extremely successful actors, actresses, directors, CEOs, big business owners, models, all that sort of thing. So let's look at the Saint card you all picked. Okay, this is Saint Maria, card number 61. She is a repentant sinner and the first witness of the resurrection. This card means great changes, breaking with old conventions and the past. Old conventions. It's kind of like old habits, things that people are used to doing, right? So yeah, I feel like you're really gonna change up a lot of people's ideas or even your own ideas on what personal success is supposed to mean to people. Success in the outer world versus success in your own internal world, and really finding a life of true freedom. Freedom from vices, freedom from frustration, freedom from feeling like you have to follow certain rules or habits or standards in order to be successful. You're going to be working through all of those things. Some of you may already be, because I'm hearing from Spirit, I'm getting like a 2, 2, 2, 2. So I feel like some of you guys are already on this journey in this lifetime. And the future incarnation is going to be kind of a repeat or continuation, or like it'll be like a part 2, like a sequel to the current lifetime. It's going to be even more magnified, even bigger than whatever it is you accomplish or do in this lifetime. But they're a continuation. You also may get deja vu a lot because of this, because you're kind of on this sort of repetitive continuum. You're kind of connected to the present life as well as this sequel of sorts in the second life. So you may experience a lot of deja vu, or you may kind of have had a lot of daydreams about becoming famous or feel like you are famous. Maybe even though you know you aren't, like on some level you feel this inner fame, and it's because the timelines are very blurred and connected. Okay, so the better work that you do in this lifetime, the more excellent you're even going to be in the next. So really getting a handle on any sort of addictive tendencies, trying to understand those, why you feel that you need those things, whether it's too much phone time or too much food or whatever it is really going to be helpful for you to get a jump start on this big success in your next lifetime. I feel like you guys will be a business owner or will be kind of your own business. Like you yourself will be the business in a sense. Okay, let's take a look at the tarot cards. Yeah, 3 of Wands. This is the entrepreneur, the business owner. Wow, and Queen of Pentacles. Okay, and then we also have Queen of Cups. Ooh, wow, beautiful. And the Hierophant, and this is Taurus energy. Yeah, for some of you in your second lifetime, you will be married to someone who is like a billionaire, very wealthy. And that will be what initially kind of gets you your status or the money that you need for whatever dreams it is you want to create. But you all will definitely be entrepreneurs, business owners. In fact, I think in your second lifetime, a lot of you are going to be like very smart, but for like opt out of college or opt out of like traditional forms of education because you just don't feel like it will serve you in terms of what you're wanting to do with your life. So very headstrong, you guys really crave a lot out of life. And that's a good thing. That's something to be admired. But that intense sort of craving that you have can also be fed or satiated through negative things. And so that's going to be kind of the balance that you're going to figure out. How do I harness this craving that I have to live life to the fullest in a way that's going to bring me the most amount of joy? Towards the end of your life, though, I see you really taking a step back. It's like you build up your empire very early on in life. I think some of you will be kids or teenagers by the time you go into the workforce. And so by midlife, let's say, or late 30s or early 50s, you've created this empire. You've done everything you wanted to do. And then you're going to have this desire, this craving to kind of seek out your spirituality, seek out kind of meditation and kind of practicing, I don't know, not having desire, becoming one with everything, like dissolving the ego in a sense, is what you all are going to do later on in the next life. Okay, let's look at the top 3 cards we have here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we have faraway places. It says go to new horizons. Okay, a message I was getting with this Hierophant card when it came up was that your next incarnation might be in Asia. I was seeing that, but I was like, oh, I might not say that because it may not apply to many people, and it might not. But now that I've got this card up here too, which this is Vietnam here, so more Asia scenery, I feel like your next incarnation is going to be in Asia. So very cool. Either way, though, you're going to move away from home from a very early age to accomplish what it is you want to accomplish. And that may take you to another country or another state, you know, who knows. Okay, we have the child divine, beautiful. It says innocence, purity, and redemption. And it suggests a special connection with the divine. Beautiful. That's like the Hierophant card. The Hierophant is the pastor of the church that has this intimate connection with God and conveys his knowledge or her knowledge to the church, to the congregation. So yeah, I see you going into a more, you're going to have a much more spiritual side to you. It almost kind of, this is going to sound crazy, okay? But this is almost kind of reminding me of Lindsay Lohan, okay? Child star. I don't think she really did any education, dealt with a lot of addictions, was in the spotlight for a long time, had these goals and dreams, and then kind of pulled away and went, I don't even know where she went and lived. It was like in the Middle East. And she said that she was focusing on her spirituality and her newfound religion and all of that. That's kind of the story that I'm seeing here, okay? So you're very headstrong, and that's going to take you very far, but it's also going to be something that eventually you're going to be like, okay, I think I've done as much as I want to in this area. I'm really ready to go into solace and spirituality for the remainder of my life. Yeah, and then we have Pluto, and Pluto is about complete death and transformation, completely dying and being reborn into something totally different than who you were. So you're going to be a very different person in your first 30 years of life than what you are in your last 30 years of life. Big turnaround in kind of your interests, your goals, what you value. All these things are going to shift greatly. I think in like your 30s or 40s. And then you're going to become very devoted to your spirituality, to your religion, whatever it is. And you're going to be healing a lot. So very interesting. Okay, the last, I don't want to forget, I have from my, this is a word deck, so it just has words. And I wanted one of these to kind of sum up a word that represents your next incarnation. Wow, and look at that, truth. You're going to be seeking the truth in your next incarnation. It's a very sort of Sagittarius kind of energy actually that I'm getting from this whole thing. This whole thing feels very Sagittarius. It even reminds me not just of Lindsay Lohan, but even Britney Spears, who's a Sagittarius and who was a workaholic. And then all of a sudden, it's like now she's just at home. I don't know if it's against her will or not, but you know, she'd always talked about hoping that she could retire young and go live in the country and raise a family. You know, it's like her goals and her values kind of shifted after working so hard for so many years. That's kind of the energy here of this reading. So you guys are going to be very successful, very determined, and you're going to succeed in everything you were hoping to succeed in at a very early stage in life. You're going to get there. And then that's when you're going to take a step back and think, okay, I've accomplished this, and now I think I just want to find myself, find my truth, find peace, find God, and just totally shift and change. So beautiful, beautiful energy. And I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section down below. I would love to know who picked this pile, who picked pile 2, and how any of this relates to your current life, because I am getting that duplicity sort of energy from this, a little bit of Gemini energy and Sagittarius energy here. So I will let you go, and I will see you in the next reading. Love you guys. Hi Pile 3, welcome to your reading. Can't wait to see what your next incarnation is going to look like. Before I take a look at your rune topper that you all chose, I want to roll the die real quick. See what we have going on there. All right, so we have Mercury in the 11th house in Sagittarius. Beautiful. So Mercury is all about the mind. It's all about communication, our thoughts, what we're thinking about. And the 11th house is about not only the rewards and benefits that we reap from our success and our achievement, but also the larger influence we have over the world or over certain groups and organizations that we're a part of. And that Sagittarius energy is kind of about world travel, world experience. I feel like there's a lot of people here who in their next lifetime will be involved in the tech industry in some way, or in science, fields of science, or humanitarian sort of work. Yeah, but okay, let's look at the rune topper you all chose and its meaning. This means wholeness, success, positivity, energy, and creativity. So a very, very positive rune topper. And yeah, the 11th house is about those rewards and benefits. So your life is going to be a very beneficial life with a lot of good connections, with a really good networking group that spans very far and wide. It seems like you guys are going to travel a lot. A lot of you guys could be like traveling speakers, you know, TED Talk type of people that do something really amazing in their field of work. With science or otherwise, and get to speak about it. A lot of studying, a lot of research going on with this group. So let's look at the mystical healing card. Okay, we have relieve anxiety. Well, with all that strong Mercury energy going on for you in your next lifetime, I could definitely see anxiety being an issue for you in this life. Let's read this card. It says, slow down and connect to your inner self. Your body is showing you that something is out of alignment. You have pushed down numerous traumatic experiences, and your inner being is overwhelmed by too many charged and conflicting energies. If you continue pushing, forcing, and ignoring all the signs, you will be heading for an internal breakdown. Your inner wisdom is eager to come out and show you a different way of living your life. You need to find a way to slow down, go into nature, and truly listen to your body. Ask questions such as, what feelings am I suppressing? What aspects of my life is this anxiety trying to illuminate? What inner and outer changes do I need to make? This can include food, alcohol, lifestyle, work, relationships, as well as going within and becoming aware of how you actually process life. Beautiful. So it seems like in your next lifetime, I feel a very intelligent energy coming off the cards. I feel like most of you really gravitated toward a particular subject in school, or maybe just did quite well with school. Naturally, maybe picked up reading at an early age or something. Not necessarily though, because I'm also getting messages from spirit about dyslexia and ADHD. But that doesn't take away from intelligence. That's still a very intelligent mind. But some of you may have suffered from dyslexia and ADHD, which could make it appear in school and traditional schooling, or made you feel like you weren't intelligent. But you guys have a brilliant mind going on, a lot of great energy there that's going to be used in your next incarnation for something in the scientific sort of fields, and a lot falls under that. It could even be, it almost feels like you're going to revamp something or rethink something. So it could even have to do with astrology for some of you, that maybe creating, researching new sort of astrological concepts that you're at the forefront of, for example. Relooking at something in science or history, could even be philosophy, but something you kind of think of or communicate that's from you, it's on your own, it's this new sort of idea. So you're going to find a way to channel this sort of zingy, electric feeling mental energy into your work. And it's going to help relieve a lot of tension from your mind and your body. And that may be a good practice to take on even now in this lifetime if it's something you're dealing with. But we'll look as we go through more of the cards. I want to look at the saint you all chose. Okay, we have saint number 44. And let's see who this is. Saint Homobonus. What an odd name. Homobonus, maybe is how you say it. Okay, he was called the father of the poor, and he was the first canonized layperson. And what this card means when it comes up is an ideal husband and businessman, as well as being loyal to friendships. Yeah, I mentioned you guys are going to have a lot of friends like worldwide, globally. You're going to be very good at networking and making connections, because that's kind of what that 11th house energy is about. So you're going to have a lot of different friendship groups, or not like necessarily even real close friends. They could be more of an acquaintance type, like a fellow scientist or a fellow, depending on what field you're in, that you work with and keep in touch with and collaborate with again and again. Maybe you guys don't see each other for a few years, but you always know when they reach out. You know, you kind of help and do favors back and forth for others and work with a lot of like-minded people. And so you're known as someone very, in your next life, you're going to be known as someone who's very trustworthy and really wants to help out the group. Because that's the thing with that 11th house energy, that Sagittarius energy. The field you are in is going to be a field that is a worldwide type of thing. And so whatever new ideas you're coming up with, or whatever you're working on, you recognize that you are benefiting your cause if more people are involved, if there's more connections made and other people interested in talking about this and doing things with this. So yeah, you're going to value that, and you're going to keep your connections strong, and you're going to be smart about that. You're going to be people are going to like you. You're a very likable, sort of humble type of person in this next lifetime. So now let's look at the tarot cards, see what they have to say. All right, we have the King of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Let's look at the last two here. Wow, then we have the Temperance card, and this is Sagittarius energy, which came up in the die, as well as the Five of Wands, which is a very competitive, combative, so it could even be something political, philosophical, even if it's connected to science or the arts or whatever, it's going to be something that is connected to combative sorts of views or two sides, kind of like the global warming thing. You know, that's a science-based area of life, but it infiltrates into politics, right? So it's something like that, where you're going to be kind of on one side of a debate in regards to something, and you're going to be using that brilliant Mercury energy you have going on to be of help for your side of the cause, whatever it is. Now, in this next lifetime as well, you're going to have a much more masculine energy about you. We have two kings that came up, but not only that, King of Pentacles and King of Swords, which are both very non-emotional sort of energies. They're all about the logic. What can I see? What can I do with this? What makes sense? The minds. So you're not going to be an emotional person. In fact, you may be on some spectrum of like the autism spectrum, like a very high functioning sort of autistic person, because there's really just not a lot of emotions here. But your biggest goal, you try to use, it's interesting because you're not an emotional person, but you have such good intentions that seem like they would be connected to sensitivity and being very empathic, but they aren't necessarily, or they are, but I don't know. It's interesting. Your makeup is interesting in this lifetime. Because your goal here, you pour all your life's work into this particular area of life, making these connections and researching and coming up with new formulas and ideas. It's all for the purpose to help heal and mend these two opposing sides. That's your goal. It's not necessarily that you want your side to become stronger than theirs or get vengeance or get back or make them look stupid or whatever. Not at all. You're actually hoping that your intelligence, your research, the information you bring to the table will help end the debates and bring both sides together, because now we have logic and facts to kind of prove that this is how it should be, or this is what it is. So even though you have a very masculine energy, it's a very I don't know, it's softer in some sense. It's not angry or aggressive. It's very logical and very practical, very grounded energy. Okay, so we have Joy and Delight. Beautiful card. It says, open your heart to joy. Then we have the Hedonist, and it says, inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life and celebrates the beauty in yourself. As well as Capricorn. It's a very grounded, earthy, kind of work hard, tough sort of energy. So I feel like the biggest, in this next incarnation, the biggest thing you're going to be learning or overcoming with this energy you come into it with is how to relieve your anxiety, how to get out of your head when you need to, because that seems to be your sort of comfort zone, and step more into your heart and the pleasures and joys of life. Love, like getting more in touch with the emotions and what feels good, and really just enjoying things. Good food, good wine, laughter with good company. That's going to be something you're going to have to learn, because on a day-to-day sort of level, you're going to be the type of person that may wear the same, may have a closet full of black turtlenecks and jeans, like the Apple guy. Just very no-nonsense, service-oriented sort of energy. So that'll be something you will be learning in the next lifetime. And I'd be interested to know if you feel like you already have this energy I'm talking about in your current lifetime, or if this is completely flip-flopped. Like, are you going to become the total opposite of what you are in this lifetime? I would love to know, or what sort of areas of study and interest you have, and if you're already using that in your career. So let's look at the last card, and this just is a one-word card, and this one word is supposed to sum up the intention or the purpose of your next incarnation. And look, we have play. Okay, so that plays into what I was talking about. So with the joy and delight and the pleasures in life, and that really being the learning curve for you, because your natural state is, is sort of very logical, dull kind of state. Okay, so it's interesting because you're going to be very good at your career, good at your job, but that's not the purpose at all of the next incarnation. It's actually trying to teach you how to get more in touch with your emotions, playtime, creativity, and find a good balance between the two. So with that relieve anxiety card coming up, I feel like this is something you could work on in this lifetime as well. If you can find a really healthy balance for yourself between work and play, between inner peace as well as determination, then you're really setting yourself up for a fantastic lifetime to come with a lot of relaxation and joy and a lot of accomplishment, a lot of good networking and connections, and being able to make a difference in whatever field it is that you're operating in. And it'd be great for you to also come into your next incarnation kind of already having a handle on your anxious tendencies, and your soul already having the wisdom of kind of how to deal with that, how to work through it, what solutions there are for you. So you can do that in this lifetime, because our soul always carries its wisdom gained into the next lifetime to help set you up for success. Okay, because the next lifetime is supposed to be about play or incorporating play somehow into the everyday life. Okay, so comment below. Let me know how it resonated, what clicked with you, what made sense, as well as what field of study you were in. I would love to know. And I want to thank you for coming and let you know that I look forward to seeing you at the next reading. Love you guys. Bye. Hey Pile 4, welcome to your reading. Go ahead and get comfy, have a seat, and let's get into your next incarnation, what that's going to look like, and maybe how it plays into your current life. So I want to start with rolling the die before we take a look at your rune topper that you all chose. All right, we have Pisces in the 10th house with the moon sitting right there. Beautiful energy. So 10th house in Pisces means you're probably a Cancer or a Gemini ascendant in this next incarnation. And the moon being in the 10th house means your life purpose has a lot to do with kind of wearing your emotions on your sleeve, or putting your emotions on display in some way, nurturing others, connecting emotionally with others. And Pisces energy is all about healing, fantasy, and illusion. So you guys could be great songwriters and known for that, but you could also be great judges, helping people who are kind of in trouble with the law, or doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, screenwriters for movies, getting your perspective and emotions out in a film or some sort of book, like a fantasy book. But we'll see as we get into more of the cards how this kind of all ties in together. So let's start with the rune topper on your pile, which is this one here. And this means disruption, sudden loss, and suffering. Interesting. Okay. So it sounds like the emotions that you'll be putting on display or dealing with, or how you're going to be helping others, is through their loss and their disruption and their suffering. So I guess that does play into kind of being a judge or a lawyer, or being a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or even making darker films or darker music, things like that. So let's look at the mystical healing card. Okay, we have assimilate life experience. Let's read this. It kind of looks like the Fool from the tarot. So it feels very like a fresh new start. It says, become conscious of what you allow to impact you. Are you overwhelmed by the constant chaos in your life? Do you feel like you're dealing with one drama after another? You have to become more conscious about which situations you allow to impact you. Your body, in particular your digestive system, is asking you to strengthen your boundaries and create a healing practice which allows you to relax, breathe, and assimilate your life experience. It is important that you do a review of your life and become aware of people, situations, and environments you need to change. You can ask yourself, what am I learning from each experience? Let go of any people or experiences draining you and putting pressure on your digestion. So Pisces, which came up in the die, is kind of about not having boundaries. Because typically, like on the negative end of Pisces, we have convicts and felons and drug addicts. So those are the type of people that haven't learned how to maintain their own boundaries for themselves. Like, no, I can't do that. That's illegal, or that's not good for me. As well as they infiltrate boundaries of others, maybe destroying personal property. So it seems like you're going to be dealing with people or situations where boundaries need to be put in place, boundaries need to be set. But with the moon there, it'll be in a much more nurturing way versus like if you were a cop, or maybe even if you were like a judge. That might be a little bit too, because you've got the moon, so it's something more nurturing, something more motherly about, and something more vulnerable about how you're dealing with the loss and the emotions and healing others. You could be a great tarot reader in your next life, or a Reiki healer, chiropractor, something like that. But let's look at the Saint card you all chose. Okay, Saint number 1. So again, a very fresh energy. It feels like, okay, so there's another message coming through. The lifetime you're in right now, whatever it is, the lifetime you're in right now, I feel like you've had maybe 5, 6 lifetimes connected to the same one you're in now, kind of with the same overall theme or purpose. Kind of think about it like when a artist comes out with an album. That album is kind of a complete body of work, and each song in that album kind of plays into the other songs. There's a overarching theme, okay? So this lifetime you're in right now is like the last song on that particular album that you're in. So this lifetime I'm talking about now, the next one, it's like a brand new album. It's a whole new field of energy that you're entering, a totally different sort of karmic cycle that you're going into. So what I'm saying here today may sound very different from anything you've envisioned for yourself. Yeah, unless you're already kind of tapped into this energy now that they're getting closer. But I imagine it's going to sound very different for you all. So interesting. Okay, what do I want to look at next? Let's look at the tarot next. Wow, we have 10 of Cups, complete personal, emotional fulfillment. Ooh, and the 9 of Cups. Wow, such emotional abundance. Holy crap, you guys. Then we got the 9 of Cups again from another tarot deck. And the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, interesting. So this next lifetime for you is really going to be 1000% focused on the emotions and how the emotions are connected to every single aspect of life. You're going to be looking beneath the surface of everything, and you're going to be seeking out emotional healing, emotional fulfillment, prayer, meditation, things that aren't connected to the material and are more about how you're feeling. Beautiful. So I see a very happy family for you, a personal life that you're very proud of. But there's a simplicity around it. You're not going to be the type of person that wants to have this certain house or that certain car or this certain wardrobe. Okay. You're really not going to care about that type of thing. You want a house that functions, that's kind of cozy and comforting. And that's really about it. You want good, family with you. And you desperately want to help other people find healing and comfort in their emotions like you were able to do. And so that's going to be your field of service, the area of work that you're going to be involved in. How can I give back my knowledge to other people? You know what? I looked at your Saint card. I showed you guys your Saint card and I didn't even look it up. How weird is that? Let's read that now. Maybe they wanted me to do the tarot first. Okay, so this is Saint Adalgisius. He's considered the gem of priests, and he helps with meditation. And when this card comes up, it means trusted friend, well-established love, and generosity. Beautiful. So yeah, you're going to be you're going to be a very spiritual person. You could have your own sort of spiritual practice, whether that be like a yoga studio that focuses on spirituality, or you'll establish some sort of spiritual retreat. You'll be some sort of spiritual guru. Maybe you will author a sort of self-help book. that's not with the intention of you making money. It's truly with the intention of, I want to help other people live a life that's spiritually and emotionally fulfilling. So a very simple, very humble, but a very relaxed sort of person, and deeply, deeply wise as well. Okay. Yep. Oh my gosh. Look, first light, beginning a new cycle. So yeah, Spirit's wanting to come through and congratulate you right now on your current lifetime, because it looks like where you are in your current life, you're perfectly set up to end this lifetime successfully ending the cycle you're in. And this lifetime I'm touching on now is a whole new type of cycle. So they really want to come in to congratulate you for all the excellent work that you've done over however many lifetimes it took for you to get to this point. But you're doing great on your path, okay? You're doing great in your life right now, and everything's headed in the right direction. And they just want to acknowledge that and say how proud they are of you for doing all the personal work that it took to get to where you are today. All right. Look, we have the scribe. It says preserving knowledge and information, as well as Taurus energy. Yes. Okay, so yeah, it feels like you all may like want to author some sort of book. You definitely want to teach people something, but this isn't something new. These aren't new concepts that you're bringing to others. You're pulling from old knowledge that's always existed, knowledge from God that's always been with us, and almost like just reminding people of it, getting people to remember how to incorporate this into their life. And some of it may be connected to getting back in touch with nature, natural herbal sort of remedies, and farming, harvesting your own food, getting back in touch with the land, living in a much more natural sort of way, and how healing that is for a person. It feels like that'll be, with that Taurus energy, that'll be kind of the realm of life you're in. Some of you may be, in this next lifetime might be chefs. Okay, that'd be a great way to express the energy. I also think some of you may be witches or Wiccans, like be very good at kind of concocting natural remedies, herbal remedies and tinctures, and sort of selling them, being like a midwife, something that's very rooted in the earth and natural sort of forms of living that are connected to spirituality, celebrating the cycles and the seasons. And your life just feels, ooh, like I want, out of all your group number 4, if I could pick any life to step into and just cuddle up with, like this would be the lifetime. This feels blissful. This feels so just at ease and just beautiful. Like you guys are so lucky, and it's got to be from all the hard work that you've done in the lifetime you're in now, because what a beautiful life. I'm just seeing like hands in the soil, beautiful flowers, wonderful pets, and people coming to you for guidance and for healing and for nurturance. And just what a beautiful energy you guys have. Okay, let's look at the last card. This is a card that just has a word on it, and this one word is supposed to kind of sum up the purpose of this coming lifetime. Honesty. Beautiful. So yeah, it feels like this is a lifetime about being very natural. Nothing fake going on in your life. You guys are going to be the type of person that eats all natural, uses all natural body lotions, sunscreens, like whatever. You want to use things from the earth, from God, from Mother Nature. You don't want anything fake or false. And that's kind of what somehow your life is going to get people back in touch with their true selves, and disconnected from this sort of technology that's kind of taken over society, and futuristic ideas, and GMO and pesticides, and factories and that sort of thing. But it's not going to be something you have to force on people. It's going to be very natural and easy for you, and you're going to influence a lot of people through your own honesty, through your own sort of naturalness of being. So fantastic group. Love this. Definitely want to know which of you chose this group. Very, very lucky, and I just want to congratulate you again for your work in this lifetime, getting geared up for a brand new start in the lifetime to come. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next reading. Hey Pile 5, welcome to your reading. I hope you're nice and comfy and settled so we can take a peek into your future, see what your next incarnation is going to look like. Before we take a look at the rune topper you all chose, I want to roll the astrological die. Let's do that. All right, we have Pluto in Scorpio, its home sign, in the 4th house. So your next lifetime is going to revolve heavily around intimacy in your personal life and private life, and completely transforming that area of your life, your childhood, your upbringing, and your own home life as an adult. What you do from home, who you are from home, who you're with at home, possibly marriage and children as well. But there's going to be a really big transformation there where perhaps you're born into a certain type of family, but then the family you create for yourself is quite different. You kind of transform the idea of what a family should look like. So let's look at the rune topper here and see what the meaning of this is. It says harvest, sequence, and outcome. Interesting. It does kind of look like little seeds being harvested or planted or just now beginning to grow. So interesting. Yeah, you're going to grow something new. That's kind of the big theme of your life, is transforming your private life and getting very connected and intimate and vulnerable in your private life, really sharing yourself at home and with your family, the family that you create. So let's get into some of the other cards to kind of get more clarity on that meaning. Okay, so first we have access clear thinking. Let's go ahead and read this one out of the book. It says, develop objective thinking about your situation and find the best solution. To think deeply about something, you have to develop your powers of concentration and allow yourself the time to connect all the pieces of your inner puzzle together. Profound thinking requires you to ask important questions such as, how much time and energy do I have available during the day? And am I using my time in the most constructive ways possible? What is the most important thing to focus on today? You are being presented with some important decisions. This card asks you not to jump to conclusions based on your emotions. Instead, take the time to look at all the options and points of view available. Through this type of thinking, you will activate your highest intuitive faculties and will discover a new way to do things, a way you have not yet thought of. You are also being called to divide your thinking between everyday affairs as well as higher spiritual truths, which require you to expand your thinking into multi-dimensional thinking. And you'll notice the woman on this card is holding like a ball of yarn, and it's kind of falling out into this huge maze, right? So she's got to find her way out of this maze. So I feel like your next lifetime is going to be very involved with the occult, as well as therapy and sort of the darker hidden things downloaded into the subconscious from an early age, and how you can work through that, overcome that, transform that. I also feel that in your next lifetime, for whatever reason, maybe we'll see as we get into the cards, you're not going to have that like a very stable home life in childhood. And that could be, this could be something that resonates for your current life as well, because oftentimes we need to kind of repeat similar lifetimes to really master that theme. So if that's the case for you, kind of use this message I'm giving you about your future incarnation in this current life as well, because you're supposed to kind of come from darkness and transform into kind of like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So come from instability in some sense, and undo all of these subconscious downloads from your infancy and your childhood, and fully heal and transform, and use those experiences as a way to empower yourself instead of allowing it to destroy you, allowing situations from the past that are no longer even around or still happening to affect you in your future, in your current state. That's kind of the big purpose of your next lifetime, is how can I become as powerful as I'm meant to be? Okay, let's look at the saint card you all chose. Okay, it's saint number 30. Never seen this card before. Let's see who he is. He's Saint Cyrus. He helps doctors with really extreme cases. And when this card comes up, it signifies a luminary, a light, a tutor, and a doctor of the soul. Yeah, so themes of therapy coming up strongly. So it doesn't have to do with the body, but it has to do with how does the mind, or how is the state of my soul actually affecting my life. Because the reason that we go to a typical sort of doctor is because something going on in our physical body, whether it be a pain here, arthritis, cancer, or whatever, it's having an effect on our day-to-day life. Otherwise, if it wasn't affecting us, well, we wouldn't need to go to a doctor for it. We usually don't go to a doctor until something is like now getting in the way of our everyday life. And it's very easy to recognize that when it's a physical thing. When it's a mental thing, a subconscious thing, depression, anxiety, or even just subconscious downloads like I've been touching on, it can be much harder to recognize, like, hey, you know what? The parenting style I grew up with and whatever pain and trauma I have with that is really affecting how I navigate myself and parent myself as an adult. And so, yeah, that's going to be a big theme in this coming lifetime for you. Okay, let's look at the tarot, and then we'll get into our other oracle cards. Yeah, okay, we have 9 of Swords. This is about grief and anxiety over something that occurred in the past. And whatever that was, giving you a lot of fear about stepping into the future. You could be isolating yourself or have this really negative view on life, or a disempowered view of yourself, like I'm too weak, I'm easily taken advantage of, okay? And then we have 5 of Wands, and 5 of Wands is the energy of kind of battling it out, not having a fear, to kind of take your wand and your stick of fire and fight against something, fight for your point of view, get your ideas across. So yeah, you're going to be eliminating fear in this next life, really learning how to overcome that, healing your subconscious, and getting your power back, getting your va-va-voom, for life kind of back. Wow. Then we have Ace of Wands. Whew. And the Chariot. This is Cancer energy, and I love how all these cards are tying together. So yeah, themes of like depression, anxiety, as well as other mental illnesses could be coming up here. Other mental illnesses that I'm not even, touching on. These could be things that you encounter in childhood or with your own self in this next lifetime. But it's because your life, this next lifetime, has a huge theme of power and getting rid of fear. And ultimately in this next lifetime, so Cancer represents the family and our roots and our home, like the 4th house, which came up in the die. But the Chariot is about being able to finally get back in balance from whatever you went through in the past in order to move forward. And in order to gain and suck out all the wisdom that you learned from all those negative experiences and use it to empower you to move you forward. Like in this next lifetime, you're going to be a very wise, balanced person. Ultimately, that's what you're meant to be, because you're going to come in contact with so many things, way more than what your age would recommend. Like I feel like in early life, there's going to be some, I don't know, you're just going to see a lot. Maybe you're going to witness a lot of arguments. Maybe you're going to see mom or dad crying or dealing with their own mental health issues. But you're going to be exposed to more than you probably should have for your age. And then you're going to work through that and heal from that, and then become this very, like just this extremely awe-inspiring, energetic, lively, just balanced and powerful person. So beautiful energy. Like this is the type of story, this is like a rags to riches type story. This is the type of person that people want to hear about your life. When they see the success that you've created and they hear about where you came from and what led to where you are today, they're just like, I've got to do a movie on this. This is insane. You've got to tell this person that you should write a autobiography or something. This is crazy. Like I never would have guessed. That's kind of the impression people are going to have of you. You're going to be inspiring to people, inspiring to so many people for, wow, just powerful, powerful people. Just the representation of the inner strength and power that every human has. Like you are the opposite of a victim. You're the opposite of that completely. You will not take that card. You do not want it. You want to access your power. Okay, we have the rejuvenating rain. And look, it says, clear the past, heal the present. Wow. Then we have the child orphan. Okay, so perhaps you guys grow up without parents. Either way, you're definitely going to feel like you didn't really have parents, or that you were alone for a lot of stuff you shouldn't have been alone for. It says independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering the fear of surviving. That is you, 1000% in this next lifetime. Like you guys are total badasses. You guys really, like seriously, even just looking at this spread is making me think about all the times in my own past where I felt victimized and wanting to tell myself, like, how dare I? How dare I even claim that or complain or say I can't do something, because look at what this person has done. You're incredibly inspirational. And then we have Libra. So we have Scorpio energy and Libra energy. So you are going to find, which again is about balance, just like the Chariot card touched upon. You guys are going to be so balanced and such, I don't know, like well presented, steady people that no one would ever have any idea of what you came from. But I also see with that Libra energy and the Chariot energy that you're going to create for yourself a very beautiful home life, beautiful marriage, beautiful kids, like a very close connection. All of you guys will be very protective of one another, very fair with one another. Just, geez, like you earn your stripes in this coming lifetime. And there's no doubt here that you guys are going to do this. No doubt at all. Okay, let's look at the final card, which is just supposed to be one word that kind of sums up the purpose of this coming lifetime. And we have clarity. Goes very, very well with the access clear thinking. So yeah, at some point you're going to, and I think pretty early on, you're going to recognize like, gosh, all these subconscious downloads, it's really screwing me up. It's making it hard for me to navigate. So I'm going to figure out what I need to do to kind of provide myself clarity, healing, cleanse all this away, appreciate it for what it was, appreciate what wisdom I gained. But it's time for me to get balanced, to get ready, to be healthy and clear-headed. So fantastic energy. You guys are true warriors, absolutely, in the coming lifetime. And if any of this resonates with your current life, let this be a message of empowerment to you. That you're 1000% capable of this. This is what you are here to teach. You are on the access point, the thread, the spiritual thread of power and empowerment. That's what you're messing with here right now in this incarnation and the next. You're learning about power, okay? So harness it. Harness it. I'm excited for you guys. Comment below. Let me know how it resonated. I'd love to see who chose this pile. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all in the next reading. Love you so much. Hey Group 6, welcome to your reading. I'm so glad you're here, and I can't wait to take a peek into your future. So hopefully get somewhere where you are comfortable and ready to kind of dig into this future incarnation of yours. So I rolled the die, and we had the 4th house, Scorpio, and the North Node come up. So that would signify that your next incarnation is going to be very centered around your home life and your private life and your intimate sort of space. With the North Node being there, probably in your current lifetime that you're in right now, the focus or the pull is more towards your career, your legacy, your public life, making a mark on the world, and you're accomplishing that. So that way in your next incarnation, you can kind of focus on the opposite. It kind of creates balance when we do that. That's what the nodes represent. The South Node is what we've come from, what we have expertise and experience in, and the North Node is kind of what's new, what's unknown, what needs to be explored. So those are going to kind of be the themes of this coming incarnation. But let's get more into kind of why and how this ties into your current life. So from the Mystical Healing deck, we have Learn from Karma. Interesting. We've got the sun and the moon there. Let's read this card. It says it's time to balance the scales. Okay, so just like what I was touching on with the nodes. Your current experience is a culmination of karma you have accrued through several lives. Each of these lives has offered you an opportunity to learn, discover, make choices, create connections, and either evolve or devolve. You are going through a time where you are being asked to compensate for an earlier deed from this or previous lifetimes. You can either complain about it and act like a victim, or embrace the opportunity to use this experience for great inner progress, whilst taking steps towards becoming a more honorable, honest, generous, compassionate, giving person. This is a time to go out of your way to do good deeds for others, no matter how inconvenient. Your family members are karmically connected to you, so you might look at what lessons they are teaching you and what healing you can offer them. This card also provides an opportunity to live in total honesty and integrity. This will require you to constantly check in with yourself and assess whether your actions are based on what you can gain or what you can give. Beautiful. I will say that there's one other pile that you all may have been drawn to. They seem like they have a very similar theme and connection. So if that was the case for you, after this reading, go back and listen to that other pile that you were pulled towards, because it will help build upon this message. So yeah, you're balancing. The nodes for you are going to be a huge theme, not only in this lifetime that you're in, but in the coming lifetime. So I would do a really good deep dive and study on your personal South Node and North Node and what those mean and what you need to work through and learn from those things, because there's some sort of balancing going on. I'm seeing like this, like a hamster wheel type of thing, where it almost seems like you keep going back and forth, where like it's, so from what I've studied in astrology and what I've understood, typically someone will spend like 10 lifetimes or more with the focus on the same node. And until they've mastered that node, then their next lifetime will be about the opposite node. With you, it seems like it rotates back and forth each time. So it's like this lifetime you're in right now is supposed to be about 10th house, career, legacy. The next one's going to be about 4th house, home, family, private life. And then it'll flip back to career, legacy, and then back and forth until you've got a good mastery of both of those, is what I'm feeling from this. So take that message and use it in this current lifetime as well. Accrue as much good karma as you can so that you can take it into this coming lifetime. Okay, let's look at the saint that you all chose. Saint Apollinaris. All right, number 14. Let's see who he is. He was the patron saint of Ravenna, and he performed many miracles during his life. The meaning of this card is achievement of ambitions and optimism. Beautiful. I also want to look at the rune that you all chose and its meaning. It's this little M, and it means transportation, motion, change, and movement. So it seems like the themes of your lifetimes, this one as well as the next, have to do with constantly pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. If you are out of your comfort zone, then you're doing good. That's what you need to be doing. Getting out of your comfort zone, pushing yourself to change, pushing yourself to grow, encountering new opportunities, new situations, even if they feel kind of weird and icky and I don't like that, you need to make yourself do it, because that's kind of the theme of both of your lifetimes, this current one and the one that's coming next seems to be. Okay, let's look at the tarot. We have 8 of Pentacles. Wow. As well as the World. That's like achievement, complete achievement through hard work and effort. Then we have the 3 of Cups and the Fool. And the Fool is about a fresh start, a new journey. So yeah, it looks like your life goes through like these little themes of really pouring your all into something, like hard, tough work. You finally get that achievement. You get a chance to celebrate. And then what you're supposed to do is now go in a totally new direction. And then pick something new, pour your all into it, accomplish everything you can with it, celebrate it afterwards, make those connections with people and celebrate, pat yourself on the back, and then hop into a totally new journey. So you're supposed to be doing that in this coming lifetime, but I'm also getting a message that you're supposed to be doing it in this lifetime as well. So it's this really nice back and forth where maybe for a time period you're putting all of your focus and energy on your job, on your career, and then you reach this milestone and make this accomplishment. And then maybe after that accomplishment, there's this feeling of I'm done with this. I'm no longer in it anymore, really. And now where my heart is not in career, but maybe back at home and home life. I'm sorry if you can hear the cars. I have my window open because it feels good outside, but I live in an apartment complex, so it's kind of noisy, but hopefully that won't pick up on my mic. But yeah, so you may get frustrated with yourself because you may feel like, well, once I find something I'm really good at and I achieve something in it, it would be so dumb for me to just give that up and move away. But oh my gosh, like I'm no longer connected to it. It's like all of a sudden. So Spirit's saying, well, no, that's purposeful. We meant that for you. So follow that. Listen to it. Work hard. Get to the top of whatever it is you're doing. And then, move on in the other direction. And so that's kind of what your next lifetime is supposed to be about. And you'll create this nice balance where at the end of your lifetime, you've not only accomplished a lot in just one singular area, but you've got lots of great accomplishments in all sorts of areas, in private life and in public life, in friendships and in travel, in education and in, you know, spirituality. Like it's supposed to make you, you're kind of trying to create this very, your soul wants to be a very well-rounded sort of person, a very worldly and cultural and just sort of person that's kind of had their hands in every single pot, if that makes sense. So yeah, listen to that gut intuition. Okay, we have the gates of triumph, and it says success expands your life. We've got a gate opening here and then this brand new pathway there. Wow, we have the mystic, and this says revels in intimate union with the divine. And then we have the sun. So this is some Leo energy. Some of you may be Leos. I will say that some of you actually may find the in your next lifetime. I feel like you're going to be, because we have this 4th house energy, the north node's here, which means the south node's up in the 10th. I feel like in your next lifetime, you're going to be working from home. You're going to be doing something where you can work from home. That's going to create this nice balance and harmony for you between work and home life. Some of you could be psychics in your next life, do a lot of psychic work. You could be doing that now in this one. You could be stay-at-home parents. You could really be in any, there's so many industries nowadays where they allow you to work from home. That's the main message that I'm getting. Whatever it is you do for a living, you're able to do it from home fully. So you've got a really nice, intimate home and family life. You get a lot of time to be with them, but you also don't have to give up your desires, your personal desires that aren't attached to what you do for your spouse or your kids. And you have this ability to earn, you know, some money for yourself. With the sun being here, though, which is about kind of having this spotlight, it is also about kids. I definitely feel that you will have 1 or 2 kids in the next lifetime. No more than 1 or 2, though, because you're going to be kind of figuring out this balance of work and home. So the sun's about children, but it's also about kind of being the center of attention and having this personal spotlight, as well as the inner child. So you guys may have like an Etsy shop. You're creating things from home, like jewelry, like my sister does, and then putting it online. You could be creating anything from home to put online. So yeah, I feel like there's some sort of online shop or store or some sort of service you provide that's online, or some sort of company you work for that you get to be at home. Definitely. But the thing is, you switch it up, okay? You don't stick to one particular thing and feel like you have to stick to that forever. That's the main lesson here, and I feel like that ties into your current life as well. Spirit doesn't want you feeling like you've got to pick a particular path and then go all for it until the day you die. The whole lesson of your life is kind of, it's like you're getting in touch with all these different parts of yourself through all these new experiences. If you build a life that's too stable and too much the same all the time, there's no space for you to transform and discover new parts of yourself, which is what this Scorpio energy is about down here as well. So you do this through these new activities, these new things that spark your interest, and you go like all in full force. You get very dedicated for a particular amount of time. And then you may wake up one day and just feel like my heart's not in this anymore. I really want to go look at this or mess around with that. That's fantastic. That's exactly what Spirit wants you to do. And that's what you will be doing in this next lifetime. That's the energy of the sun, the inner child. You know, children get sick of certain toys after a while. They want to play with something else. They're into something different. That's your energy, this freshness, this newness. So I love it. Like, this is really fun, good, playful Leo, Gemini, Taurus sort of energy here. Okay, let's look at the last card. This is just a word deck. So I asked for Spirit to pull one word that signifies the purpose of this next incarnation. And we have humor. Isn't that hilarious? Not taking anything too seriously. And that includes your interactions with other people, things from the past, you know, grudges, or any endeavor that you take. Do it while it's fun and exciting and put your whole heart into it, like the sun talks about. But make sure that you really tap in and listen to your intuition when it's like, I'm done with this, or this is boring, let's do something new. The theme of this next lifetime is about humor, fun, lightheartedness, you know, not taking anything too seriously, just relaxing a bit, doing a little bit here and a little bit there, a little bit at work, a little bit at home, a little bit with friends, you know, whatever. So yeah, you guys have really got This sounds like a fun lifetime to me. I actually resonate with this pile quite a bit in my current life. So I would love to know how it resonated with you all. And I want to thank you for being here and listening to this reading. And I love you, and I look forward to seeing you next week for our next Pick a Card. Bye-bye. Hi, pile 7. You guys are the final pile. Get comfy, have a seat, grab a snack, whatever you need so that we can get settled and into this reading. Take a peek into the future and see what it holds. Okay, I'm going to start with rolling the die. Okay, we have Neptune and Scorpio in the 9th house. You guys are the third pile where Scorpio came up. We're getting a lot of scorpionic themes for the next coming incarnations, at least for our little tribe over here. Okay, so Neptune, Scorpio, 9th house. So 9th house is about higher education. It's about philosophy. It's about foreign lands, travel, and expansion. Scorpio is really about uncovering occult knowledge, digging into the secrets of life, secret societies, secret knowledge that's hard to obtain, mysteries. And Neptune is a very sort of fantasy, illusion, escapist sort of planet. So it seems like you're going to be kind of breaking down some illusions through research or uncovering knowledge. It's like you're going to be tapping into the secrets of life in a sense and expanding your worldview. You guys would be great philosophers, professors, spiritual leaders, all these sorts of things. So let's dig into some of the other cards and tie this all in together. So I want to start with the rune topper you all chose, which is this R card. And it means change, destiny, relocation, and journey. So yeah, a big theme in your next lifetime is going to be kind of traveling the world or being a foreigner in another land that isn't your homeland that you grew up in. It's going to be a major theme for you. Okay, let's look at the Saint card that you all chose. It's card number 52. He's odd looking, isn't he? Saint Johannes Bosco. Let's see. He was the founder of the Salesians, and he promoted education of the young. This card signifies promotion of professional skill and craftsmanship. So I definitely feel like in you guys' next lifetime, you're going to be either spiritual leaders or professors. You're going to have a big focus on, education, educating different cultures, like bringing different cultures together, getting people to understand one another, breaking down the illusions and boundaries that exist between people of different countries through education, and empowering people through educating themselves as well. Very cool. Okay, so from the Mystical Healing deck, we have Recognize Divine Timing. And I want to read this card to you all. It says, what you truly desire is on its way. To fully receive what you are asking for, you need to deepen your efforts on your inner preparation. Be aware that it will arrive at the exact right time when you are truly ready. If you are asking for a loving relationship or a friendship, become aware of what kind of person you would love to connect with. What qualities do they need to have? Start to work on those qualities yourself. Be open and receptive to this meeting. If you would like to develop your intuitive abilities further, then be willing to take the time to do the appropriate exercises to finesse your energy in order to create new powers of perception. If you want to start a family, work on greater intimacy, love, communication, and a healthy inner environment. If you're working on a business or a potentially financially rewarding opportunity, know that it is coming and take strong daily action to prepare for success. So I feel like this card might be more of a message to you in your current life than it is in this coming lifetime. Because I feel like in this coming lifetime, you're going to have a really good handle on recognizing divine timing. I don't get a sense from you, your future self, that you have this need to rush through things or that you get anxious waiting about things. In your next life, you're going to be very at peace and understanding of divine timing, manifestation. You're not going to stress too much. You're really going to pour yourself into education and expansion, and really just like tapping into the meaning of life and what that is, and uncovering different mysteries and things like that. So a very adventurous sort of life is what you're meant to have. Lots of travels. You know, I see lots of trinkets, souvenirs, collectibles in your home, things that have meaning to you that are from your trips, and just a very cultured, worldly sort of person. Okay, so now let's look at the tarot. Yep, we have the Chariot. This is Cancer energy, as well as 7 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles, and 10 of Wands. Wow. So in your next incarnation, you're going to leave your homeland. I feel like in early adulthood, you're going to decide to break away and travel the world or go explore, or whatever it is you want to do. You may be involved in like the Peace Corps, for example. There may be a college overseas you're really interested in, a language you're interested in learning. So I see you doing that. And I see you fighting against a lot of adversity initially, because I'm talking here about when you're 18 years old. This is before you've really matured, okay? You're going to be fighting against a lot of adversity that you are going to have the strength to do, but it's going to make you realize a lot of things about how people perceive or judge you just because of your background and how different it is from theirs. And that's what's really going to spark your interest into these areas of cultural and spiritual significance for you. And I see you kind of becoming an expert of the field you decide to go into. You're going to be someone that people, if you're going to work with other people, okay, there's going to be people underneath you or around you, but you're going to be deferred to as kind of the expert on whatever subject it is that you are teaching or communicating or doing. And you're really going to pour your life into that. I also feel like there might, for some of you, you know, I mentioned Peace Corps. I see that being a theme for many of you. You're going to maybe move to somewhere that's impoverished or in need of a lot of construction and infrastructure help, and helping to build homes and buildings through some sort of nonprofit, maybe educating children who don't have access to communication and that sort of thing. You're going to put your whole life into this. I don't get a sense that you're going to have a huge, like, I'm not picking up on marriage or kids. It doesn't mean that it's not there in the next incarnation, but it's definitely not the focus of like the life purpose, okay? It's really this sort of service and being kind of a servant to the world, to the community. And then I see that in old age, after a very long amount of adventures, like in very old age, I don't see you retiring until you're in your 70s at least. That's when I see you kind of coming back home, wherever that is for you, and really just settling and enjoying your retirement years. But yeah, you're really going to be of service to the world and a very sort of like calming person to be around. You're going to be the type of person that when a disaster happens, you know, and everyone's kind of freaking out or the emotions are going crazy, you're going to be the calm one. It's like, it's almost like you have this realization that everything always blows over, everything heals with enough time. There's no need to panic or worry. And I feel like you're mastering that sort of energy and attitude through this current lifetime. That's kind of the task in the current lifetime that you're in, to not overreact, to not feel the need to rush things, to just be more at ease, you know, with the blows that life can throw us, because it's getting you prepped for this next lifetime where you're really going to have mastery over that and be a comfort to others in that area. Like you always are able to see the way out, the possibilities ahead, like a very positive energy coming off of the deck. Okay, we have Watching Clouds, and it says, lie back, rest, and relax. Yeah, that reminds me of everything that I just said. So yeah, you're going to live a life of service to others, but it's going to be a life that has a lot of downtime, a lot of time to explore, to relax, to check out the local restaurants of whatever place it is that you're living in or traveling to connect with the local community and the people there. You're definitely not going to be someone that really has to work 40 hours a week, or work isn't really going to feel like work necessarily. And it's definitely not going to be in like a huge industry or with capitalism. I don't feel that it's related to capitalism at all, whatever it is you're doing in this next lifetime. I'll put it that way. It's related to help and education. Okay, we have the Beggar, as well as more Cancer energy. So you're going to kind of be, your family actually is going to be created through these travel endeavors and these communities that you get involved in. You're going to be kind of like a mother to that community. That's going to be your family. You're going to watch the kids grow up that you got an opportunity to teach in the village that you were at or wherever you were at. That beggar card is, let me read this. It says, confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival and awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. So you're going to be dealing with a lot of people that are in this beggar mode, that haven't found their sense of self-empowerment, that may really feel like there's just no way out. The world against them, they don't have the opportunities that they need. And you're going to be someone that comes in and helps calm and soothe them, and then help to tangibly provide solutions and help. Like, why don't we do this? Look, you can do that. Like, you just never, you're going to be someone who literally just never really overreacts about things. Just very wise and of service, but you're going to have lots of opportunity to relax, to travel, to learn. I love this lifestyle. This is like a nomadic sort of lifestyle. And yeah, it definitely feels like missionary type work, or Peace Corps, or something like that in that sort of arena. Okay, let's look at the final card. This has just got one word on it, and I asked Spirit to pull a word that would signify the purpose of this next incarnation. And we have awakening. Beautiful. Yeah, you guys feel very awakened. But that awakening for you in this next lifetime is going to come from growing up in a particular culture, breaking away around 18, 19 years old, going somewhere totally different, and then for the first time understanding the cultural differences, the differences in poverty levels, how many people need help, how much judgments go on in the world because of cultural differences, and et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be this huge awakening moment where you're going to realize what you want to dedicate your life to. And that's going to be the theme and the purpose of this coming life. So you can help yourself in this current life by practicing not overreacting, not being too doom and gloom, remaining calm through some tough situations, just always having kind of an open and relaxed mind. So comment below if you chose this pile. I would love to know who did. And I want to thank you for being here. And I hope that I helped give you some insight into your next incarnation and got you looking forward to it a little bit. And I look forward to seeing you guys in next week's Pick a Card reading as well. Love you.